بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Welcome everybody to the Safina Society Nothing But Facts live stream on a sunny but cold late fall, early winter day with the witch's brew. And Fuzz wants to call it Dragon's Breath, but I don't want anyone to think I got Dragon's Breath. So this is the witch's brew, ladies and gentlemen, and it's spicy today, really spicy, because I'm gone decaf, believe it or not. It is one of the best things to do. It's hard to do. It's really one of the best things to do. It's so good to go decaf, I'm telling you. Anyone? Let's go. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد صلاة تكون لك رضاء وله جزاء ولحقه أداء وأعطه الوسيلة والفضيلة والمقام المحمود الذي وعدته واجزه عنا ما هو أهله واجزه أفضل ما جازيت نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته وصل على جميع إخوانه من النبيين والصالحين يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم اجعل فضائل صلواتك وشرائف زكواتك ونوامي بركاتك وعواطف رأفتك ورحمتك وتحننك وفضائل آلائك على محمد سيد المرسلين ورسول رب العالمين قائد الخير وفاتح البر ونبي الرحمة وسيد الأمة اللهم ابعثه مقاما محمودا تزلف به قربه وتقر به عينه يغبطه به الأولون والآخرون اللهم أعطه الفضل والفضيلة والشرف والوسيلة والدرجة الرفيعة والمنزلة الشامخة اللهم أعط محمدا الوسيلة وبلغه مأموله واجعله أول شافع وأول مشفع اللهم عظم برهانه وثقل ميزانه وأبلج حجته وارفع في أهل عليين درجته وفي أعلى المقربين منزلته اللهم أحينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته واجعلنا من أهل شفاعته واحشرنا في زمرته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من كأسه غير خزايا ولا نادمين ولا شاكين ولا مبدلين ولا مغيرين ولا فاتنين ولا مفتونين آمين يا رب العالمين. This thing is clicking again. I don't know what it is. It's a lamp?
It is a light, yeah. As soon as you turn it on, it started clicking.
Okay, so what is it, Edif? What did you call it?
It's just electrical lapse, I guess. We really don't know for certain what it is. So remember we were trying to look for yesterday?
شيء عجيب.
If there's like a bug chapter that every time we flick it out, I just get zapped and it's here. That's.
Well, the first piece of good news is that Sami Hamdi was released finally today. That's the first piece of good news. Second thing is, Edif, I don't know if I texted this, but we need to get Yusuf Ponders back on because he's a great guest, good thinker, good convert brother. We need to get him on. Okay.
The name of your channel? The name?
Yusuf Ponders.
Yusuf Ponders.
Yeah. Second announcement. Now, this is, I guess, not exactly great news that people want to hear, but that Morocco trip has to be postponed that we were going to do because it coincides with Eid and got to be here for that. Second thing that we're going to do here. Everyone, can you crop out the ceiling now that we went to, because we were on Dalailul before, which is a full screen. Now we're on Safari, as the Arabs call it. This is a great website. Maliki Fiqh QA, we're actually developing it, and we're going to keep improving the website, but everyone should go to the site now because there's a new and updated one. I'm not going to read it on the stream, but it's on how does women calculate Haid and all the questions on Haid. This was done by Sister Hira Hashmi and her husband, Tariq Putnam. Yeah, and they're out in California, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're in Egypt, actually. Okay, but today we're going to see, what if I forgot part of the prayer? That's the question we have to ask here. Okay, and the first, let's put this like this, and then so it's just like, actually, you know what? Yeah,
Crop it to this?
no, just leave it. Leave it like this. Actually, I guess I'll just read it. All right, what is sujood as-sahw in the first place? Sujood as-sahw refers to two prostrations before or after exiting the prayer if you forget a sunnah or an obligation. Okay, but it's a bit different, right? Each one. And sahw literally means as a word in Arabic, it literally means forgetfulness. Hence, they are done to compensate when you forget a fard or sunnah. Not if you intentionally omit a fard or sunnah. If you intentionally omit a fard or sunnah, or if you intentionally omit a fard, your whole prayer is invalid. There's no making up for it. If you intentionally omit a sunnah, then not just that your prayer is not invalid, it's makruh for you to do that. But if you intentionally did it, you can't compensate for it. Compensation of the reward is something given when a person accidentally does something. Then Allah gives you a chance to compensate. You understand? How is it done? If you forgot something, you complete your entire tashahhud, tahiyyat, zakat, salah on the Prophet, any dua that you want to make. Then you say Allahu Akbar again, make sujood. Get up as you normally do. Rabbi ighfir lana warhamna, wa'afina wa'afu anna, whatever people say, or nothing at all. Go into Allahu Akbar, go into sujood again. The normal way to go into do two sujood. Then you get up and recite only the first half of the tashahhud. Tahiyyatullah, zakiyatullah, salawat tayyibat. You know, the Maliki we have the version from Umar ibn Khattab. Hanafis are looking like their head spinning. There's this guy a Muslim or what, right? Because how do you guys say it? Tahiyyatullah, was salawat tayyibat, salam. Okay, we say tahiyyatullah, tayyibatullah, salawatu zakiyatullah, like that. Tahiyatullah, zakiyatullah, salawatu tayyibatullah. I know they're looking at me like I'm not a Muslim anymore or something, right? They've never heard of tahiyyat like tahiyatullah, zakiyatullah, salawatu tayyibatullah. That's how we say it. And that, you know where we get that from? Sayyidina Umar, from the minbar, he taught the people to do tashahhud. Sayyidina Umar used to teach fard ayn from the minbar because there are all these new Muslims coming. Fard ayn, for those who don't know, is the obligations that every Muslim must know. And he used to teach it in Jum'ah. He used to teach these things. Jum'ah shouldn't just be one track. It should be something that basic things should be addressed. Also, you can address more complicated things that the veteran Muslims would all understand, and even students of knowledge. It's like everyone took something from it. Right? It doesn't have to be one track, super simple or super complicated. All right, so that's they only do the first half. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Assalamu alaikum. Then you exit the salah. Okay, so that is how the form of sujood as-sahw. Now this whole form can come before the salam or after the salam. So if you made a mistake in the salah, like of deficiency, your mistake was of deficiency, then you compensate before the salam. If your mistake was of addition, so let's say you're praying Aisha and you did tashahhud in 3 rakahs in a row. So now it would make no sense to do anything before the salam, right? Because you already added. Now you're not going to add more. So you make the correction after the salam. So we call that a qabli and a ba'di. Okay? Now, let's read. What if you intentionally omitted an obligation or sunnah? We already mentioned that. That if you intentionally omit an obligation, you can't make it up. Cancel the whole salah and redo it. If you intentionally omitted a sunnah, it's Mukhtasar Khalil says that your whole salah is invalid, but the mashhur opinion is that no, it's makruh. Reason being is that if it's invalid, it's the salah. That should be fard then, right? So that's the logic there. And we're going to get to what are the obligations and sunan in the future as we scroll down. Okay. Now, what if I forgot an obligation? Hold on. When I get a sip of the witch's brew. You got to have this all winter because you got to keep your body warm. If you don't like to eat a lot, and we shouldn't eat a lot, you need to keep your body warm. Otherwise, other people, they keep their body warm with food. Okay? And then eventually blubber. Like a nice warm coat some people have. Why are you looking at me, bro? He's like, it's not you. By the way, Fazl is extremely skinny. Right? Huh? You're fit, I would say. All right. If I forgot an obligation, the moment you realize you forgot an obligation, you shoot right back up and redo the whole rak'ah. Simple. Let's take an example. Hypothetically, a person recites a surah. It has in it a sajdat tilawa. So it's in Surah Al-Hajj, for example, or other surahs. Huh? And Najm, but you know, for us Malikiya, they're abrogated from Hujurat on down. You know that? Yeah. We only have 11. They're abrogated from. That's why you never see people reciting Surah Al-Alaq, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, because they don't know what to do. There's a sajda in the middle. They don't want to confuse the people. People are going to get confused. So for us, the sujood al-tilawa, from when the Prophet arrived in Medina, now so that people can recite these surahs. This is what they're going to recite in Salah. So they're abrogated in the Maliki Madhhab. We only have 11. Yeah, not 15. So let's say you are reciting one of those and you go into sujood at-tilawa and then you spend a long time there. You want to get married. You're making dua for a wife or something. Taking every opportunity. You know these shabab, how they are. You're married already, right? I'm not. So he's making dua for other things like some money to make and stuff to pay for all this, right? So now you spent so much time in sujood, you forgot. And then you thought you were in sujood. So you got up and you sat and then you made the second sajda. In the middle of that sajda, like, hold on a second. I botched this whole up. I was supposed to get up for Salah, for Fatiha. So now your whole rak'ah is invalid. X the whole rak'ah, shoot right back up and pray that whole rak'ah again. Now, keep in mind now, Allah is all merciful, right? So how do we make sense that we need to have a ritual law that has rules, but also Allah is merciful. When we say that whole rak'ah was invalid, that doesn't mean you don't get rewarded for the recitation you just did. And that doesn't mean your dua therein is not heard. Imagine a person prays the most beautiful 2 rak'ahs of nafil tahajjud in his whole life. And he prays his heart out in his whole life, better, more than ever before. Then at the last minute, he accidentally lost his wudu before he salams out. The whole 2 rak'ah unit is invalid, but Allah still rewards him for his recitation, his tasbih, his dua is heard. So that's how we understand that. So when you forget a fard, you shoot right back up, cancel that whole rak'ah in your head, redo the rak'ah, continue praying as normal, and then before you salam out, you pray 2 sujood sahw. Okay? What if I forgot a sunnah? What's the difference now between a fard and a sunnah? When you forget a sunnah, and we're going to list them. There are only 8 sunan. Everything else is a fadila in the salah. Obligations, sunan, fadail. If you forget a sunnah, you keep going. That's the difference between forgetting a fard and forgetting a sunnah. You keep going. You don't stop. You don't make up that rak'ah. And then before you salam out, you do the sahw. Okay? 2 sujood sahw. Okay? Again, we said if you have a deficiency in the salah, if your forgetfulness took something away, you do it before. If your forgetfulness added something, you do it after. Okay? Like, for example, what if I added a rak'ah in the salah? If I got up and I realize I'm in the 5th rak'ah, now this is the only mistake that I won't keep going. Because now a rak'ah is a fard, right? You can't add a fard. I think we got so much light power going on that these things are going crazy now. Right? Maybe that's the reason. Could it be? Yeah, like we got this going, all these.
It's like really tapping.
Yeah, it's tapping hard. All right, now let's continue. If you added a rak'ah, you immediately go down. You don't continue that rak'ah and say, all right, I'll round off the 5th rak'ah and then I'll pray sahu. No. You add it. So you go straight down. What if I didn't recite anything? You still added the standing, right? The standing is fard. So then you salam out of the salah, okay? And then you do sujood sahu after. Now in that case, you added a fard. You see? Okay. Well, let's take some examples. If you recited dhuhr out loud, so you swapped the out loud and the silent, or maghrib silently, again, you swapped audible and inaudible, or you skipped the sitting for tashahhud, or you prayed 3 instead of 4 rak'ahs, all of those, it's a deficiency. So, sajdatay sahu qabla salam. However, if you accidentally added to the prayer an extra rak'ah, or recited a surah or a 3rd rak'ah, recited a surah in the 3rd rak'ah, or sat for an extra tashahhud, then you have to do those after. What if I accidentally added and decreased? Then we would prioritize the decrease, and you would do this 2 sujood sahu before salam. What if I totally got confused and I accidentally swapped sahu before and after? Right? Oh, shoot, I was supposed to do it before, I did it after. I was supposed to do it after, I did it before. No problem. It's okay. It doesn't matter. So that the order of before salam or after salam is fadila. It's the whole sujood sahu is sunnah in the first place. Okay? So to do it before is the correct way. But if you accidentally forgot and you ended up doing it after, la bas, it's okay. No problem. All right, what happens if I remembered while in motion? I remembered something while in motion. So let's say I remembered tashahhud, but I'm already on the way up. What's the ruling? The ruling is as follows. If your knees, you got 2 knees, 2 hands on the floor, right? On the way up, if any one of them is still touching the floor, you haven't gotten up. But if all 4 of them are off the floor, you've gotten up. And so therefore now, you're on the way to what? A fard. From what? A sunnah. Tashahhud is a sunnah. So you go up and you continue that rak'ah. What happens if I didn't know this? I got up for the fard, but I went back down for the tashahhud. No problem. No problem. You added a fard so you could do sahu. You added the fard of standing, right? So you do a sahu after. Okay. The salam. But the moment you start Fatiha, now you can't. The moment you start Surah Al-Fatiha, you can't go back down for tashahhud. Now you're completely mixing everything up. Okay. If you start reciting Fatiha for the next rak'ah, but then you say, nah, you know what, I'll still do it. Now you botch the whole salah, is invalid. It's completely invalid. What if I make a mistake behind the imam? You don't make the correction. Okay. The imam covers all of our mistakes. He's like, he's the one who absorbs all of our mistakes. Because we can't be having this. Every muqtadi, the one who's praying behind the imam, is called a muqtadi. Okay? Or a ma'moom, synonymous terms. If each ma'moom is correcting himself, no, you have a leader. Okay? The leader of the house covers. The leader of the imam, he covers. I don't know. It's a good question. Good question. What if I accidentally talk in the prayer? Accidentally speaking a few words in the prayer is compensated by prostrations after exiting. Why? Because that's a mistake of addition. Okay? So you do it after. If you're praying behind the imam, then you do nothing. Okay? If the speech is a lot, then the prayer is invalid completely, whether you forgot or not. Okay? Now, what if I intentionally spoke in the prayer? If it is intentional, be it little or a lot, then you're sinful. Okay? And the prayer is invalid. On one condition, that it was not obligatory speech. But if it was obligatory speech, like what? Saving a life. becomes fard for you to speak, even if you're praying. Okay? And so if it is obligatory speech, then you are rewarded for saving the life, but your prayer is invalid. All right? The only time that obligatory speech is acceptable, does not invalidate your salah, is when you're correcting the imam, such as correcting his recitation or correcting his movement. And it's ideal for you to say subhanallah to correct his error, but if he still doesn't understand, then you may actually speak to him. He sits for tashahud in the first rak'ah of Fajr. Hey, subhanallah. But he doesn't get it. You say, قم نحن في الركعة الأولى. You're allowed to do that. Okay? If it's a small amount. You can't say get up, we're in the first, and it's what he understands. Could be Urdu, could be English, right? Could be whatever language, as long as you alert him. Okay? And then he can get up. But it has to be smallest amount of words possible. Okay? What if I forgot to do sahu? If you forgot one of the 8 sunnahs, but then you also forgot to do sahu, then you make up the sahu only if a short time passes. Okay? But if a long time passes, khalas, it's done. Remember, sahu itself is a sunnah. Okay? So if the error was one of addition, then you can make it up at any time. Okay? Because that was supposed to be outside of the salah anyway. Remember, the sahu before salam is part of salah. You can only make up, you are in that salah as long as a long time doesn't pass. So for example, let's say I prayed 3 rakahs of dhuhr. Then immediately I turn around and I say, oh, by the way, we're running late, we got to go. So I talked about something outside salah. Doesn't matter. Because for us, it's the time, not the hadith, not the nature of the speech. There's a, before you go, we only prayed 3 rakahs. You got to do another rakah. So, oh, is that true? Is that the case? Yeah, that's the case. All right, then we do it. So the sujood is-sahu that's before the salam can only be compensated if it's a short time. But the moment we all get up and we leave and a long time passes, it's done for. Khalas. You missed it, that's it. Your prayer is still valid. But if a long time passes, it doesn't matter. You could still do that sujood sahu anytime because it's not inside the same salah. That's the logic behind why salah sujood sahu after the salah, after the salam can be done at any time. What happens if I lose count of the rak'ahs in the prayer? The one who forgot knows they forgot. Okay? This is called sahu. I forgot. Oh, I realized I forgot. But the one who has shak, he has doubt, is different. Doubting is different than forgetting. Doubting, I'm not sure which one I'm on. 3 rakahs for dhuhr or 4 rakahs for dhuhr. So of course you then build upon the lesser number and then you build from there. And then you do sujood as-sahu before exiting the salah. Okay? I always forget things in the prayer. That's the subtitle. I'm not speaking for myself. But it could happen to anybody. When your life gets really busy and stuff, and like too many things are going on, you find yourself always forgetting. We call this person mustankahu shak. He's no longer considered a normal, doubtful person who made a mistake in salah. He is mustankahu shak. Always forgetting. And his special guidance, ignore it. There's no had or limit on what is mustankahu shak. You know it in your mind. Man, these days I'm always forgetting everything. Or shaitan is messing with me. I have shaitan tries to give you what's called scrupulosity. You're so scrupulous in religion, you get OCD. It's a sickness. Okay? That it could be biological, chemical sickness in the brain. It could be from shaitan. Okay? So to make religion impossible. And a lot of people, they get this in salah and in wudu. Because those are the things you do every day. So what's the ruling on them? The guidance for them? Just ignore it. Don't even think twice. Keep going and salam out of the prayer and move on. Same with najasa and wudu. All right, what if I forgot a fadila? What are the fada'il? The fada'il are the length of the surah that you recite. The fada'il are moving the finger. The fada'il are saying Rabbana lakal hamd. The fada'il are the tasbih and dua in sujood and ruku'. The fada'il is how to sit with tawarruk. What else are fada'il? These are fada'il of how to hold your hands. Okay, the physical hand movements of the salah. How straight to be in ruku'. There's a difference in what validates ruku' and what is the fadila of how straight you are. The it's from the fada'il that your nose touches the ground in sujood. From the fada'il, neither obligatory or sunnah. The forehead is the obligation. All these are from the fada'il. This is what's preferred in the salah. Forgetting or even intentionally leaving off a light recommendation for a reason or no reason at all has no consequence in terms of the validity of the prayer, except leaving it off for no reason at all, except laziness, is makruh. It's discouraged behavior. Now, what are the 14 obligations? 14 obligations of prayer is the intention, number one, of course. You have to, and the intention, when do we make the intention? At the takbir, right? Or before. You enter by saying Allahu Akbar. Of course, the Ahnaf can enter by saying any remembrance of Allah, which that is, I mean, imagine someone did that in a masjid today. People would go nuts. Really? Any name of Allah even. Any tasbih. Ya Latif. Subhanallah al-Azim. Ajib.
That's the same level. I don't think there's any fadl over saying Allahu Akbar over.
Really? Subhanallah.
No, there's no, I don't think so. I think it's
Ajib. Number 3 is to be standing for it. Number 4, recite Fatiha. Number 5, standing for it. Number 6, the ruku', bowing. Number 7, rising from it. Then number 8, the prostration, and it has to be on your forehead. Number 9, rising from the prostration to the sitting position. Number 10, making the spine straight, i'tidal, each time one rises or stands, such that when you rise from ruku', you can't come halfway. You got to stand normally, as you would normally stand. The sitting has to be done, when you sit, you have to sit normally in terms of your spine. That's called i'tidal. This is all from the hadith of Prophet ﷺ when he taught a man how to pray who wasn't praying properly. Then being still, tuma'nina. In each position, you must be still for a moment. Now that stillness is of the limbs, not, someone once said to me, I have a hard time not blinking. I said, no. When we said still here, it means of the limbs, not the blinking. Okay? It has nothing to do with that. And then number 12, doing all these obligations in order. Number 13, exiting by saying assalamu alaikum. And 14, sitting for that salam. Okay? And then the 8 sunnahs. Silence where the recitation should be silent. Reciting out loud where it should be out loud. Reciting the surah after Fatiha. All the takbirs. Besides the first one, which is fard, of course. Takbirat al-ihram, it's called. Ihram means to render things forbidden. Because the moment you say takbirat al-ihram, speech, eating, going to the bathroom, drinking, talking to people becomes haram. Right? All those things, everything becomes haram that we all know you can't do in salah. Okay? Saying Sami Allahu liman hamida is from the sunan. Okay? The first tashahhud, the second tashahhud, and sitting for the tashahhud. These are the 8 sunan. And there's an Arabic poem for this. Very simple. Right here. I love how I can expand things now. Thanks to Fuzz, who got us this little device. Sinani, Shinani, Kada, Jimani, Ta'ani, Adda Sunan al-Thaman, or Adad al-Sunan al-Thaman. Same thing. Whether we put a shadda or not. Sinani, Shinani, Kada, Jimani, Ta'ani, Adad al-Sunan al-Thamani. These are the 8 sunan. The sinan are as-sir was-surah. Silence where it needs to be, and the rest, and the surah. Shinani is tashahud al-awwal wa tashahud al-akhir. Okay. There should be alif lam there. Al-tashahud al-awwal wa tashahud al-akhir. Jimani al-jahr wal-julus. And the ta'ani al-tahmid wa-takbir. Al-jahr is to say out loud. Julus is the sitting for the tashahudain. And tahmid is saying Sami Allah al-Hamda. At-takbir is all the saying of Allahu Akbar in the movements besides the first one, which is an obligation. Okay. What are the sources for this? Is written by myself, and I have to add here, reviewed by Rami Nasur. The sources are An-Nafrawi on Risala, Akhdari ibn Ashir, and Sharh al-Ashmawi. Okay. And you can study Maliki Fiqh at arkview.org. Okay. You can read Ibn Ashir with translation and commentary at sharhab.com. Let's go to arkview.org, see what the website looks like. By the way, we're getting a new website for ArcView. I'm pumped. An app? Yeah, an app. Yep, look at ArcView. You want to study, but traveling abroad is out of the question. We're here to solve that problem, and we do. Okay. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah for this that we do. Okay. We will connect you to English-speaking scholars who will take you up the ladder of knowledge. ArcView offers beginner and advanced track, including a special track for Arabic. So how does it work? You choose a track. You log in. You see your courses and see live session schedules. You enter the course room and attend live sessions or view recordings. Number 4, you get the Telegram group link from inside each course room and then ask the question and start interacting with the teachers and fellow students. Okay. Is this a video? No, it's a video. Hold on. Put the volume up. Had to put the volume up right quick? Yeah, let go. What's wrong with this thing? On my side, it's not working. Oh, it's working now. Okay. Where's the volume?
I don't think there's the video.
Oh, there's no video on this thing. There's no sounds on this thing. I was just showing you what it looks like, I guess. Yeah. All right, good. Just showing you what it looks like on the inside. Okay. So the tracks, the essential tracks is myself. I teach Sunday for 3 hours. Okay. But here you have courses on Aqidah, Fiqh, all 4 madhabs, Tajweed, and Tasawwuf. By the way, where's my Tasawwuf class? We have to add it soon. Because this term I didn't add it. I didn't do one. You attend the courses of your choice, but we recommend you start with Aqidah. After completion of the program, then you'll be ready to take a deep dive into the advanced. Let's learn more about the Essentials program. Okay, so what a pretty picture. All right. What do we teach? Hanbali Aqidah with John Starling. Ash'ari Aqidah with Uthman Quraishi. Maturidi Aqidah with Murad Uthman. Hanafi Fiqh, Maliki Fiqh, Shafi'i Fiqh, Hanbali Fiqh. Tajweed, Tasawwuf. And then my class that I teach at the masjid, it's different subject each time. That's a Sunday class. Foundations of Ahl Sunnah. And then youth with Hala Amr and Sira with Mu'in Sayyid. Okay. Then you have a live schedule. Let's check out the live schedule right quick. And that's what our schedule looks like. You can go through it like that. Okay, let's go back now. Let's look at the Arabic program. Arabic program with Sheikh Mahdi Lak, he's serious. He's not playing games. No, definitely not playing games at all. Hey, Brian, did you find the link? Any link?
Yes, so...
All right, don't send me, WhatsApp me the link. Or, yeah, just send it to me in any way.
The problem is, though, that he doesn't give a sharh about that sirah. He gives it about different hadith.
And the fitan?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
I'll tell you that one.
All right, so 11 hours of live sessions a week. You're going to learn when you study something for 11 hours. Okay? and you read tafsir with him, and you achieve B2 proficiency within 5 years. The goal is to graduate you within 5 years. Like, we don't want you hanging around. We want you to graduate within 5 years. Okay? And this is the curriculum. You could read all the curriculum stuff, the details. But Sheikh Mahdi Alak does not play games. So if you seriously want to learn Arabic, it's not so difficult. You can do it. And then we have advanced. The advanced classes, advanced Aqidah with Sheikh Murabit, advanced Hanafi Fiqh with Sheikh Imran, advanced Maliki Fiqh. Now you're studying twice a week. Arabic Mutun. Of course, the tuition, the teaching is in English, but the books you're reading are in Arabic at this level. Okay? So there you have it. There you have it. Speaketh. No, we haven't done the orphans. Let's Edifun load up, or maybe I can load up everything up here from here, right? So we go to SafinaSociety.org and then /orphans. Whoops. You guys are better at me than I did internet than me, but you know what a Zennial is?
No. What, Gen Z, millennial?
Yeah. It's someone who grew up non-digital, and as they matured, the digital age came in. That's what a Zennial is.
We grew up on like cassette tapes, like me and my sister. We used to
Really?
watch, like cassette tapes as like that was like our entertainment. We didn't.
So you had what your parents gave you, right?
Yeah.
All right. So here is basically these are the young youth. It's taken a while to load up because there's a lot of pictures. Let's just go to the donate button and see where we're at until this loads up. Wow. It takes a long time. Why is it taking such a long time to load up? All right, here are the kids. Mujahid Mahmoud Turkmani. Look at these little cute kids. And they're orphaned. What is the definition of an orphan? For the humans, he lost his dad. So they still may have their mom or neither. Okay. So these are the kids. And let's see where we're at, because we're sponsoring 100 kids a year, but we're focusing on 10. Meaning we're keeping tabs and reporting the lives of the 10. Right? This iPad's taking too long. I'd cancel this iPad and go to your image. It's taking too long. Cancel.
New goal, 5,670.
Okay, because Fuzz, to make him happy, our new goal will be $5,670, so that we can get 567. Also, well, should it be 5678? All right, let's make it 5678. That's our goal today. 5678. Okay.
We need to make a video for this, like similar to the one you made for the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
We need footage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. All right. Here's a shubha that I want to talk about. Again, today our goal is going to be to get to $5,678,000 raised out of the 48,000. Okay. This is 480 British pounds per. Wait, what did I say?
You said 480.
Yeah, 480 British pounds per kid. Times 100 gets us to 48,000. So as a result of that, we are, by the way, this is starting for 2026, so we're ahead of the game. We are ahead of the game.
We need 86 pounds.
86 British pounds today. Okay. All right, listen to this, folks. Listen to this. And this is not the full examination of this hadith. Let me just put this here. All right, I'm answering you right now, but I'm actually on the stream right now. So I'm just recording this while we're on the stream so you can hear it and don't have to search around the stream. The hadith is found in Bukhari. Okay. it states, the Prophet ﷺ stood up. And he spoke about fitan of the end times. Okay. All right. And he spoke about, and he said, here is the fitna. And he pointed. Okay. And where did he point? In the direction, nahwa maskani Aisha. All right. In the direction of Aisha's house. The key word here is nahwa. Let's take nahu. What does nahu mean? In the direction of. When I point to Aisha's house, it would be, he pointed ila maskani Aisha. Okay? All right. Let's also apply common sense here. Common sense is this. If I'm going to hold a theory or a thesis that the Prophet was pointing to Aisha's house, that saying she is the source of fitna. Okay. Then let's now take all of the Prophet's hadith about Aisha, correct? Since we're accepting the Bukhari hadith. The Shia are use this against Aisha. Oh, so that means you're accepting Bukhari's hadith, correct? You're admitting it's sound hadith. Okay. In that case, let's take all the sound hadith, including from Amr ibn al-As, O Messenger of Allah, who is the most beloved to you? He thought it was himself, right? He said, Aisha. Okay? Who is the most beloved to you, O Messenger of Allah? Aisha. Is the Prophet going to love someone who causes fitna? Okay. Let's go to the Quran. للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا وينصرون الله ورسوله. And if you can kill the iPad screen, by the way.
Oh, I thought this is the hadith.
Yeah, but nobody can read that. Quran itself says about the muhajirin. Which muhajirin? All of them. All of them. للفقراء المهاجرين that made hijrah. Did Aisha make hijrah? Yes, she did. Okay. الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم. Aisha, she lived as a child in a house in Mecca, yes or no? Yes, she did. So it applies to her. الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم. Lost all their money. Seeking Allah's bounty and His pleasure. يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانه. وينصرون الله ورسوله. And they give victory to Allah and His Messenger. Meaning giving victory to the religion of Allah. How do you give victory to God? By giving victory to His religion. You can't give victory to God. He has no needs. He has no enemy. So it's majazi. Give victory to Allah means give victory to His religion. Okay? وَيَنْصُرُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. They are the truthful ones. That's Quran. Right? So that's the first thing. The first logical thing when you deal with a piece of evidence and you want to know what it means, and you want to come up with a theory about the piece of evidence, then let us now look at all the evidence and find a pattern. Not find two dots and make a line. No. The pattern clearly is that all of the muhajirs are praiseworthy in the sight of Allah, and Aisha is specifically the most beloved to the Prophet. Okay? That's number one. Number two. Let's look at the language of the hadith. This doesn't even need discussion because it says he was pointing nahwa in the direction of Aisha's house, not to Aisha's house. That's number two. Let's take a look at the context now. So we looked at what? All the evidence about Aisha. We didn't even need to. We just looked at one verse and one hadith. We could list more. Number two, the actual linguistic meaning of that nahu maskan Aisha, in the direction of. Number three is, what was the context of this khutbah? The context was warning people of Najd. And that context of that is found in other places in which the Prophet warns us that fitna will come from Eastern Arabia. And fitna had already come from Eastern Arabia. They killed 70 Quran teachers. When they first gave him security, they said, okay, let's send us teachers to learn Islam. and they went, and some of them had given, and the chief had given security to the Prophet ﷺ, then the people changed their mind. They pushed their chief to the side and killed all 70. The fitna had already come from them. Then he did qunut against them for 40 days. Okay, that was the qunut he did after the ruku'. And the one he kept for his whole life was the qunut before the ruku', using the dua of haft and khala'. We already talked about those in past sessions. So the context is so clearly apparent because it already existed, and he's telling the Sahaba more is to come. And what came right after the Prophet's death? Musaylim al-Kadhab, and the huge battle, and so many Muslims died fighting tens of thousands of people who apostated and followed Musaylima al-Kadhab. All right, that was what it was. All right, what came out of the house of Aisha? Right, what fitna did any fitna happen from the house of Aisha? They're gonna say, oh, the battle of the camel. What was the battle of the camel? The battle of the camel, Shia, was Aisha, Talha and Zubair trying to stop Ali from leaving. Means they loved him. They wanted him here. The whole purpose of that skirmish, which was started by the Khawarij, but the purpose was that Sayyidina Ali, he made the decision, we need to leave. There are too many bad things happen in Medina. Can't even think. The Khilafah has to, I shouldn't say can't even think, but you know what I mean. You need a change of scenery sometimes. The Khilafah needs to go to Kufa. What is Talha and Zubair and Sayyidah Aisha? What is their ijtihad? Their ijtihad is two things. Number one, we need to prosecute the killers of Uthman now. Sayyidina Ali said, we'll do it. We will do it, but after I settle the Khilafah. I got two burdens on my head here. The whole Khilafah and one specific issue, which is the killers of Uthman. Which one has to take priority? The whole Khilafah takes priority, right? So that his ijtihad is sound. Aisha, Talha and Zubair said, she said their ijtihad was, A, this needs to be settled now, or else there'll be fitna. And B, no, don't leave. Stay and be Khalifa here in Medina. So is she for him or against him? She's for him. She wants him to stay. If she's a source of fitna, she'd be happy he left. So when they got there, on the night of, now who wants to ensure and must ensure that Sayyidina Ali gets no repose? Sayyidina Ali made it very clear. Once I settle the Khilafah, then we'll prosecute the killers of Uthman. Right? So therefore, in whose interest is it that he never gets repose? The killers of Uthman. So they attached themselves so close to him. In their minds, keep your enemies close. Right? Keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. That's in their mind. He is their number one enemy now. So they need to be, in order to make sure the Khilafah never settles, let's get close to him. Let's act all religious. Now all of a sudden, they went from people just arguing for money and power and these other things, and perceived injustices and maybe possible injustices from the governors of Egypt. Now they transformed to these fake religion. And this is the beginning of Khawarij. Fake religiosity to attain a worldly goal. That's Khawarijism in a nutshell. Fake religiosity to upend the political order of things. So they start growing beards and praying a lot and being close to Ali and making themselves religious. But deep down, they just need to make sure he's never settled. So in the middle of the night, the Kharijites they catch a plot. Let's make them fight. You go kill some from Ali's side. You go kill some from Aisha's side. Boom, they come out and they woke up. Everyone woke up, found dead amongst them. And they thought the other person did it. We're under attack. They're attacking us. Go out with the swords. You go out with the swords. And a skirmish happened. And fighting happened. Caused by who? By the Khawarij. So factually speaking, where's the fitna? Factually speaking. Yeah, like not from Aisha.
No, it doesn't even make sense because you're saying that the Prophet ﷺ is pointing to his own house where he used to live.
SubhanAllah, he's pointing to his own house. Maskan Aisha. Whose home is it?
Ajib. These people.
Whose home is that? Okay, if I tell you fitna is going to come out of my home, you're like, why are you telling me? It's your home. You're the man of the house, right? You're the man. Go control your wife then if she's causing fitna.
Yeah.
Why are you sleeping and putting your head on her lap when you die, basically giving a rubber stamp to everybody? This is the woman that I love. Why is it that all the other wives of the Prophet said, we know you love Aisha, come and go and take my day instead of her, like did this. We know you love Aisha. I forgo my day. You can stay with Aisha on that day. Why this approval of a woman who makes fitna, if that's the case? Okay.
And not only that, like, they have a habit of downplaying the people they look up to. So Sayyidina Ali, that he didn't do anything when Sayyidina Fatima was attacked. He just sat there.
You are actually was his mic on, or should I repeat that?
His mic was on.
You are people when they say Fatima was attacked by Umar, the Khilafah was taken, the Prophet's Khilafah was taken from Ali. You are actually insulting Sayyidina Ali. Because he either did one of two things. He was either accepting of it or not accepting of it, but cowardly and weak. Okay? I say, oh, he was doing taqiyya. Then how do you know? Taqiyya is not talking, right? How do you know then if he didn't talk? What, are you reading minds? You are actually insulting Sayyidina Ali. I mean, so we covered this on 4 bases. The first basis is the actual language of the hadith. Does not even support the theory because it's in the direction of Meskan Aisha is also his house, number 1. But in the direction of, not to Aisha's house, in the direction of Aisha's house. Very clearly, on that it's dead on arrival. Number 2, cross-referencing all the other hadiths. Just be logical and not have a conclusion that you want to reach. Be logical and look at all the evidences. It's replete with Allah's pleasure with all the migrants and all the companions, and hadith is replete with Aisha's praises in specific from the Prophet ﷺ. Number 3, what is the context of the whole khutbah? It's fitna. The fitan, the wars. What is fitna in Arabic? It's number 1 meaning it's killing. And the killing comes from the east. It did come from the east through who? Through they killed the 70 Quran teachers, then Musaylim al-Kadhab. It's killing. Wars happened because of the east. Did killing happen because of Aisha? So let's go to other things, such as the inconsistencies in it. The first inconsistency, the Prophet's pointing to his own home. His own home. All right? Nobody goes around, especially in the old days, and going around saying that's Fatima's home. No, he says Ali's home because he's the man of that house, right? Nobody addresses a home as being the woman's home, okay? Up until modern times, all right? But number 2, but mainly it's the Prophet's home too, as Ryan just said. The next inconsistency is that let's actually look at what transpired. What transpired was that the killing happened from the east. So if that's the understanding, which has all the evidences in the world, because the Prophet said it in multiple occasions, the fitness from Najd, the fitness from the east. All right, let's look at what happened in history. It happened there. Hundreds of thousands of deaths because of the east. All right, what deaths happened because of Aisha? Give me a narration she picked up a sword or even said to anybody to kill anybody. Give me one narration. Go kill them. Give me one narration of that. No, the Kharijites are initiated the Battle of the Camel. And if she's so against Ali, which is the fitna for them, why is she fighting to keep him in Medina? Subhanallah.
And if you look at the other hadith, which are narrated by different narrators about the same hadith, right?
Yeah.
So the narrator is saying that he points towards the house of Aisha because in the geographical location,
that's east.
That's where it was. And the Prophet said in that same hadith, al-fitnatu min qibad al-mashriq.
Let's look at this again. Ryan is bringing, I didn't really know he was that smart. Okay, don't let it get to your head. Who is saying he pointed towards the house of Aisha? The narrator. But what did the Prophet actually say? Isn't that the tafsir of his pointing? He literally says najd in the hadith. His words say najd. So if Aisha's house is in the way, because obviously that's the first building, right? That's the first building. That's why he described it as in the direction of Aisha's house. But what is the Prophet's wording? Is he not the translator and the mufassir of his own speech, his own action, when he points Then he explains what he's pointing to. Nejd. And you're going to go now take the narrator's statement, which wasn't even in contradiction because it was in the direction of Nejd. The house was in the direction of the east, where the Prophet's standing to give the khutbah, pointing eastward. It would have been Fatima's house. Okay. Would be the, Sayyidah Aisha's house would be the first house there. So all of these are the many, many easy swat away attempted theory that the Prophet is saying fitna comes from the house of Aisha. Okay. In another narration in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, the Prophet ﷺ stood at the house of Aisha's room, right in front of the house, and he pointed in the direction of the east and said, fitna comes from there. Right? Which also would make it illogical that you are somewhere and then you point at it.
And
you're already there. Why are you pointing at it?
it would make more sense to say, if this was a case according to Shia, that it's fitna too min bayti Aisha.
Well, yeah, why not be explicit about it? So why is the Prophet afraid and Ali afraid in your hadith? All of your theories require the Prophet to be like afraid.
Yeah.
And his judgment's no good in your theory. His judgment is bad. He's inexplicit on very clear things. Okay? Say it. The Prophet ﷺ literally made dua against them. So he's not afraid of entire tribes. You're going to say he's afraid of a woman? And then saying opposite hadiths, like she's the most beloved to me. And then laying down on her. So he's a scared prophet? Your theory actually undermines the entirety of Islam. The reason is, as I said before, they'll take two dots and draw a line, and they will not zoom out and look at the whole body of evidence, which will give you a clear and obvious picture. Here's another narration. In the same speech, the Prophet ﷺ named it, okay? Or he says, Ha huna ardul fitna, the land of fitna, in this narration of the hadith. Okay? The land of fitna. And he points. So therefore he's pointing to a land by his own words. Okay?
That's cherry picking hadith.
So therefore Medina is a land too, right? Subhanallah al-Azim.
You know, they view the Bukhari hadiths, right, and the Muslim hadiths to be Umayyad fabrications. So
Yes.
they believe that in the Umayyad time that there were factories of hadith fabrication, max fabrication in favor of Aisha and Uthman and Muawiyah. So if that's the case and this is the meaning, then why are they fabricating this hadith against her?
Yeah.
Doesn't make logical sense either. Again.
Okay, let's take a look at the logical sense. Man, subhanallah. How much have you debated? Because he's coming up with another one. He said, all the favorable hadiths for Aisha were made up by Bukhari and Muslim and other people. Then why would they make up this one then? Oh my, it makes no sense. Oh, the hadith of he loves her more than anyone else? That's made up. By who? Bukhari and Muslim. Then why would they make up this one? Subhanallah. Secondly, here's another narration. The narration of Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ comes out of the house of Aisha, then points to the east and says, there is the land of kufr. Kufr, meaning, where's Musaylim al-Kadhab? What did he do? He made kufr. All the eastern tribes around Musaylim al-Kadhab, they apostated with him. Okay, all of his clan apostated with him. All right, we're done with that subject. Very pretty logical and clear. Hey, is this the old one? Yeah, I did this. Well done, Rayan, with the contributions. Yeah, they say, subhanallah, the Sunnis made up all these hadiths of Aisha. Okay, then why would they make this one up if it was what you're saying? No brains. Because you know when you have no brain? You have no brain when you're on the falsehood. Because it forces you to say stuff that just is so stupid. It forces you to say stuff that incriminates yourself. I don't believe that people are courageous and smart on their own. They're courageous and smart when you're on the truth. The truth is easy. The truth makes you look smart. And defending stupidity makes you look really stupid. And that's how I look at it. It's not whether you're smart or dumb. It's what are you trying to defend? All right, next subject. Let's go to some Q&A here. Tucker Carlson on Israel First Meltdown and the future of the what? America First Movement. That's like some must-watch TV right there. Okay, because he's completely destroying. He's one of the biggest players. Him and his preppy outfits. He's one of the biggest players in this thing. Okay. Patrick Bet-David had that guy, what's his name? What's his name? What's up with the Christian apologists who are always attacking Islam? And it seems that they're having these huge meltdowns. One of them is a alleged child molester. Another has severe body fat, body dysmorphia, and lust problems. He admitted it, and he's having a mental breakdown. Why would you say that? Like, clearly you're having a mental breakdown if you talk like that.
One cross-dressed as two.
Sam Shamoun, they call it. What'd you say?
One of them cross-dressed as two. Wears dresses and women clothes.
One guy's crying because his wife left him. Let's take the Q&A. Kuroneko 137. What does he say? Is there a dua wazifa for the abundance of rizq? Oh, no, sorry. That's cardiac care clinic. Yes, there is. But it requires you to wake up early too in the morning and work. Okay. And that dua is Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. All right. Kuroneko says, what does one provide dawah to a Muslim who was struggling with their faith due to a hard life? It is to speak well of Allah, but also to try to help their life. The people who are in a traumatic state and they're in a bad state, words can't really help them. That's the truth. A better life, helping them in life, money, okay, is what helps them. That's what helps them. But if it's emotional trauma, let's say, it could be emotional trauma, but also speaking well of Allah. Okay. Speaking well of Allah. Continuation of the question. Extreme fluctuations of praying than not praying, but they have the belief they get to the highest level of paradise. So I think that maybe actually there is mental issues. So you should seek help. I never used to really believe in the medical side of things for mental issues when I was younger. I said, no, it's all behavioral and it's all spiritual. But no, I believe they're mixed now. They're mixed. It could start spiritual or mental, behavioral, and then becomes physical. Or it starts with, it's intermixed. I think that you can't really find the line. That's my current understanding of it. So therefore, I actually have seen, believe it or not, people take the medicines and it just changes them. They're better when they take the medicinal stuff. So I would highly recommend such a person who skips Salah but then prays too much, they're swinging from extreme to extreme. I would highly recommend that they get medical help. to be a balanced person.
They might also be bipolar.
That's what it is. It could be bipolar disorder, which is you swing from like at one point you're the most religious person in the world, next point you're like questioning the whole thing or whatever. Who knows what? May Allah protect us all from that. Just take the medicine. What I don't think it's bad. Okay. Okay. Ed, if you sent me a photo.
No, it's just the
Okay, so the light in the studio is ticking for some reason. And Edif says it's arcing. Electricity snapping from one place to another because of a small gap in the wire. And you get electrocuted if touched directly. Okay.
Look at it after.
Loose wiring or connection. Oh, maybe the wire in the back had actually fallen.
Oh,
And I put it in. So maybe it's loose. Okay. So Sneako 1374 HQ. So kindly advise that brother or his guardian, if he has a guardian, to get help for bipolar disorder. Okay. Everyone, fire up. Let's see if we got to 5, 6, 7, 8 while I take a sip of the witch's brew. And put it on the screen.
5, 6, 1.
All right, we're at 5, 6. Put it up on the screen. There, 5, 6, 1, 5.
63.
We need 63 GBPs. Hey, did you ever see Muhammad Hijab?
Where do you do this?
Here we go.
Pull it up on the iPad.
I'll put this on the iPad. Edit, get my iPad ready. This is just too funny, bro. So first of all, this guy Golding, who sends these inflammatory tweets about immigration all the time, I never knew he was real. I thought it was like a fake account, right? And just sending inflammatory tweets. I literally thought it was fake. I did not know it was real. All right, I have to get my iPad ready. Oh, I didn't plug it in. My fault. So it turns out the guy Golding, I think his name is Golding, is a real person. And Muhammad Hijab is ready to debate him. But first, they wanted to do a boxing match, an MMA fight, to be technically sound. But of course, MMA won't sanction it. And so therefore, because when you sanction a fight, you're allowing the illegal. Hitting each other becomes allowed. It's like abrogation or something of the law, or it's an exception of the law. So they won't sanction it. So they have to do it underground. So they could either do a fake one with all the equipment, or they can go to another country where you don't have the laws like this, right? Lawless country, and do it there. But eventually, Muhammad Hijab it got into asking him some other questions on the subject that they debate. And the Golding idea, it's essentially a nostalgia and race and ethnicity related idea underpinned by a belief which we said we don't accept. We don't believe in. The belief is that certain lands are for certain people. And that's absolute and permanent. And we said, no, the custodianship of land is changed by Allah all the time. It changes all the time, in good ways or in bad ways. And ultimately our belief is that the good way, you have to migrate legally. And in this issue of too many Pakistanis in England, is essentially his thesis, is that if these guys were Norwegian, right, and all these Norwegians come, and the Norwegian culture is not so different than the current British culture, not so different, and they look probably better, right? Maybe they got better dentists in Norway, who knows, right? Because, the British are always made fun of for their teeth. I don't like to make fun of the people, but I'm just saying, right? If that was the case. Within 2 years, 2 generations, Sven would become Stephen, right? Olaf would become like Harold or something. And they look British. No one would have a problem. His problem is you're too foreign for our liking. That's just your opinion in terms of your taste. The question is, did they come there legally or not? That's your question at the moment. Did they come there legally or not is the question. Have you been able to convince them to live your way of life? Those are the questions you have to ask, because most of them came there legally. No one's illegally flying from another country, right? If they're illegal, then arrest them. I don't have a problem with someone came illegally. I think you should arrest them all, and remove them, or send them back to the country from which they came. And you come legally. If someone came to your house illegally, what do? Same thing. You don't sit there giving them rights and being silly. So but from our philosophy, Europe is a country. The custodianship of that country has been to certain people, and it's changed a lot more than they think. They imagine like us white British, we grew out of the land or something. No, half of you are from Romans, half of you are from Norwegians, half of you are from who knows where. You're all mixed up. Everyone's mixed up. Now it's really, globalization has really mixed you up, right? Now you're coming from halfway around the world. The custodianship of land, it goes to the one who will benefit it the most. Okay? And that could happen in a good way or in a bad way. And we can only promote the good way. But anyway, he got to the point of telling Muhammad Hijab something funny, which, to be honest with you, he has good qualities, this guy. He's just a direct and straight guy. And even when they discussed immigration, he said, Muhammad, this was not the agreement. The agreement was to discuss the boxing match, right? But now you're discussing immigration and asking me to cite quotations and statistics. That's not what we agreed on. So I think he was right about that. But they had a great discussion. I like both of these types of straightforward kind of guys. And this was a hilarious exchange. Let's listen in. Ready, Edif?
Yeah.
Here. Raise the volume up.
Our volume is good.
Okay,
you would be on the first plane.
let's do it again. Hold on. Let's try it again. Shoot. You know, I hate this Apple thing that you watch a video and the sound
First
is
of
not.
all, we would deport anyone connected to Islamic extremism, and I'm sorry, in my view, you would be on the first plane. Being honest,
No problem.
and yeah, you'd be deported within a heartbeat. To be fair,
That's no problem. Yeah.
So Islamic extremists will be deported, illegal immigrants would be deported, and we just roll.
That was a funny exchange. I mean, Muhammad Hijab didn't even flinch. Now I find it offensive at all. But that was a funny exchange. That's definitely going to be a gathering at someone's house. And I guess we'll take the day off and say from eating healthy, get some fried chicken and fries and get someone's house and watch it. If this was to ever happen. And we'd have a bout between, what was his name? Ron Golding? What was his name, the guy?
Golden Bear or something?
I don't even know. Because I blocked him a long time ago. I didn't think he was a real person. I really didn't think he was a real person. All right, Gospel Unitarian, what's your question? Adam sinned, the proof of which is that he sought forgiveness. No, your premise is wrong. Sins are not only sought for sins. Forgiveness is not only sought for sins. Forgiveness is also sought for imperfections. That means if I did the best possible night of worship I could possibly do, then I realized I could have done more. But I got tired. I got a drink, and I chit-chatted with the guys for about an hour. Then I went back. So it was imperfect. Could have been better. That alone I could make forgiveness for. So the premise that forgiveness is only sought from sins is a mistake. Forgiveness is also sought from imperfections. I could have done better, but I got a bit lazy. I could have done better, but I forgot. What is Prophet Adam seeking forgiveness from? He's seeking forgiveness from the imperfection of forgetting. He forgot God's rule. Allah told us himself, "Nasi wa lam najid lahu azma." He forgot.
And don't we say that Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyiatul Muqarrabin, right?
It's a saying, yes.
Yeah.
It's not a hadith of the Prophet, but it's a saying. Hasanatul Abrar, the good deeds of regular people, are actually sins of the people close near. Sins here meaning imperfect. A guy comes today and says, brother, I made wudu for every salah and I prayed every salah on time. And that's all I did all day. Okay? He did not remember Allah outside of that all day. All he did was pray 5 times a day. For one person, that's a bad day. That's insulting. If that's his worship on that day, that's an insult. You didn't remember Allah at all outside of Salah. You didn't pray any nafil. You didn't pray any sunnah. That's an insult. You didn't read the Quran or do dhikr. For another person, you insulted Allah with this behavior of yours. That's all you did all day. You go to another person and we celebrate. We go out to eat. This person prayed 5 times a day for the first time. Different context, right? Different context. You celebrate a little boy taking 1 step, right? But if you were to take 1 step on your little stepometer in a day, that'd be a really unhealthy disaster. So it's all relative. Jamie Adams says there's a huge illegal issue in the UK, to be honest. A lot of the diaspora overstayed and it was easy to naturalize. So they're overstaying, they're blameworthy for that. And the government, I'm telling you, I was there in England for 3.5 years and looking around and saying, what the heck are they doing? Right? Where is the government here? They're so weak. Okay. I don't believe in, we don't believe in Islam, this idea that let's go and live in these countries and make them Islamic regardless. No, legally. Follow the rules that there's law and order. If they let you come into the room and preach, then do it. Do it. And if they shut it down, they're the authorities. It's wrong from the cosmic spiritual perspective. They're wrong. But they have rights. And a Sharia recognizes the rights of lands, right? So if they were to say, if I was to go to a country, okay, Caucasia, for example, just hypothetical nation, and they were to say, there are rules here. These rules may be wrong in the sight of Allah overall, but they would still be binding on the person who goes there. So, for example, someone who said, you cannot stand up in public in a park and preach Islam. I would have to follow that. That's the agreement you made when you accepted, when you went there. So we're not all for that. Yeah, we're not for that at all, actually. But now let me ask the question. They're kids that were born there and naturalized. Or they were illegal, then they were naturalized. Then no one's illegal then. Even if you started illegal, but you're naturalized. Or your kids are now naturalized. Jamie Adams says, is it a sunnah to not perform non-obligatory sunnah acts at all times? Let's think. Is it ever a sunnah to not do a sunnah? And the answer is, it can be a fard not to do a sunnah. Like what? Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan was well known for mukhalafat as-sunnah. He used to do the opposite of the sunnah in front of everyone. And they used to say, how could you not do the sunnah when we know the Prophet and Abu Bakr and Umar did it? He said, I do this so that you all learn and see openly that it's not fard. So the obligation that he was fulfilling was knowledge of the difference between sunnah and fard. You see the wisdom of Uthman? Okay. And he deemed it an obligation upon him as the Khalifa to educate the people to know what is the difference between sunnah and fard. So he didn't do the sunnahs all the time. Okay. Let's see some other questions here. What do we say to the Shia who quote the Prophet saying to Ali, you are to me as Harun was to Musa? How is that a proof that he's the Khalifa when Harun was not the Khalifa after Musa? Harun died before Musa and Joshua was the Khalifa. So that's not a proof. And the hadith of, whoever's master I am, Ali is also his master. Of course, Sayyidina Ali is the most honored of the companions, even in the that time. That does not equate to Khilafah. Ma kuntu mawla fa aliyu mawla. You can be my mawla and not be the Khalifa, right?
And that hadith, by the way, like, it has a context.
It has a context. They were speaking ill of him at the time.
Yeah.
And saying bad things about him. Some people were, not everyone. Okay. And they were saying maybe they weren't saying ill things. They were complaining about him, about his manner of ruling a small group of people that he took. That he was on a mission in Yemen. But a Khalifa, can he have a dad? Is his dad not above him in rank? Right? In a non-legal sense, meaning as a father, he's the Khalifa. He's above everyone in his authority, right? But outside the legal realm, you can have someone above you, such as your father, right? So that's the answer to those questions. How do you explain the matter of taqleed, who isn't educated religiously and ignorant of the issue? Some people see it as a form of sectarian and division of Ummah. How do we respond to this? Did not the Prophet ﷺ and the Quran both use the tree as a metaphor? The Prophet ﷺ used it as a metaphor. The Quran uses it as a metaphor. If we look at a tree, the roots of the tree is unseen to us. That's the depth of our iman. Then the trunk of the tree is the what upholds it. And that, in this analogy, are all the beliefs and actions and rituals that we all agree on. They are one. There's no discussion. We don't need opinions to pray 5 times a day. When you pray Asr 4 times a day, 4 rakahs, it's not because you're a Hanafi. It's just because you're a Muslim. We all know that Asr is 4 rakahs if you're Hadir, not traveler. You don't do it because you're a Shafi'i or a Maliki. Okay? But the Shafi'i will begin the Salah with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim because he's a Shafi'i. So now we get to matters that are not single in their evidences. And those are the branches of the tree. Can you imagine a tree that's just one pole? Where's the beauty? Right? And can you imagine a tree that is just opinions like a bush on the ground? It's weak. You can't lean under it. You can't take refuge under it. Less animals live in it. So the tree of Islam has matters in which we do not even have to have a discussion. Every Muslim knows them. And then there are matters that do have discussion. And you take your ijtihad and go east. I'm going to take my ijtihad and go west. And both of them have an asl in the Sharia. They have an origin. They originate from the root, the trunk of that tree. And that's our law and our whole religion and all the decisions that we have to make. There are some things have no decision about them. There's no discussion. And there are others that have discussion. And hence, the right side of the tree is only beautiful if there's a left side of the tree. Can you imagine you took the whole left side of the tree and cut it off? Now you have an uneven tree. That's not good. So we not only uphold, but respect and honor all of these opinions. That's why on ArcView, we got all the Aqidas, the 2 Kalami schools and the Athari school. And then we have the 4 Madhhabs. So we have to honor these. And if you're not a scholar, then you just decide upon, and you don't need to have a madhhab. You're a regular person. You just do whatever your parents and your masjid's doing. But if you want to study and become a scholar, then eventually you can't your brain can not, in the beginning at least, understand multiple things all at once. You won't advance. It's not the way. Okay, it's not like it's haram or anything, but it's just not the way. Can you attend 2 medical schools at the same time? Show me one person who attended 2 medical schools at the same time. Well, it's all medicine, right? It's all good. But you don't. You attend 1 school at the same time, at a time. And so you use your brain, knowing what you know about Islam, what you know about common sense, what you know about the Sunnah. That's the trunk. The stuff that no scholarship is required. We all know these things. We all have a sense of who's pious. We all can read Quran and Hadith. At least some of them we can understand. Using that information, that knowledge that you have, use your brain to see which Imam is most worthy of following and which Madhhab. As we study a Madhhab, it's not just the Imam. It's like a 1,000+ year tradition now at this point. And they have a methodology and Imams and Shuyukh. Which one is most worthy of following? And then you study that. Simple as that. Let's say I don't want to be an Imam, but I just need a go-to for my Q&A, for my questions. The best thing is to follow a Madhhab. Otherwise, these people who don't, they just bounce around. Sometimes it's halal, sometimes it's haram, who knows what. And they end up fashioning the madhab of their desires.
Fatwa shopping.
They fatwa shop according to their desires. Shopping is according to your desires. You go look at the apples and you eat the ones that you like. But I tell those brothers, don't tell me that you don't follow madhab. You follow the madhab of your desires and your mind, your brain, and your opinion. So don't say you don't follow madhab. You do follow madhab. You follow yours. Your desires and your mind and your brain and your whims. Okay. And what makes sense to me. All right, now I ask you a question. He says, okay, well, what's wrong? Because it's within the 4 madhabs. I said, no, I never said it's wrong. Pass it on to your kid now. Go and justify it to your kid. Pass it. Open a mosque with this methodology. Right? Hey, Sheikh, why are you going with this one than this one? Right? Or now he's a Sheikh. He's made himself a Sheikh. Most masajid in America were founded by people who they weren't ulama. They're just regular people. And maybe they innocently did this. But okay. Explain it to your population. Why are you doing things this way, not that way? Because it makes sense to you. Well, who are you? You're just a regular guy. Why should we follow you? But if we open a masjid and we say, we got to have a law, we're going to choose Hanafi law. Why? Because 70% of the people are Hanafi. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. Or I want to open a masjid and I love to bring Maliki fiqh in the masjid. I can announce it. This masjid operates with Maliki. I founded it. I paid for it. I'm allowed to do that in Islam, right? Oh, I think I figured out what it is.
It's that fly, I think, right?
No, it's me pushing it back.
Oh.
It's touching the tree. Remember when we fixed the tree?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So just move this blue one up a little bit real quick. Actually, you're working, so forget about it. Later on. So it turns out that all that noise, it's not anything except me and the
I was gonna work because it feels the light.
what's that material? This clay pot right here. Push this clay pot up. Pull it up. Pull it up more.
I was just seeing if that's what's causing it. Move it up.
Yeah, now that tree, push that palm tree off of it or put something between it. Yeah, now it stopped. Somehow.
I wonder why it stopped when you get up.
Yeah.
We're looking for it like
These people who advocate for not following madhab, they often bring up like, Imam Ahmed saying don't follow Thawri or Abu Hanifa, right?
Yeah.
Or Shafi'i, but don't do taqleed of them. But
Yeah. Okay. When the Imams say, don't make taqleed of me, follow the evidence, etc. First of all, so who's he talking to? That's first question. But what it means is, when you follow this, know that you're following the Quran and the Hadith. That's what you're actually following. So when you're a Shafi'i, you are following the Quran and Hadith as Shafi'i understood it. That's the meaning of that. Where is the Christian brother? Or he's not a brother yet. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Only the believers are brothers. All right, let's see. Where is the Gospel Unitarian? Did he took his Shahada yet or no?
No, he's not Muslim.
He's not?
No.
You know?
No, it's obvious.
What is a gospel Unitarian up to?
God before God.
Death. Is death a punishment in Islam? Do you mean death penalty for crimes or in general? No. Generally, death is not considered a punishment. Well, how could it be when, I mean, didn't Jesus die? Right? Was that punishment for Jesus? Is Mary still alive? Is the mother of God, allegedly mother of God, is she punished?
Or did God punish himself?
Did God punish himself if he's Jesus? If Adam had never ate from the tree, would he still have died? We don't know that. But yes, all human beings were created to live a temporary lifespan on the earth. And then their body dies and their soul lives on in the barzakh first, which is an interworld of spirits only. Then they're resurrected and given another body. And that's the afterlife. Is fighting and striking face permissible to watch? Well, the general rule is if it's permissible to do, it's permissible to watch. So then how are we going to watch Muhammad Hijab? Oh, no, we can watch it because if he curses Islam, it's permissible to beat him up. Actually, I don't even know if it's legal. If beating up has now become legal, then it becomes permissible in Islam.
So if the
If some
opponent, he curses like the Muslim fighter and he curses his deen.
suddenly becomes halal. Yep. So for example, I remember fatwa came out that Khabib's fight against Conor was lawful because of what Conor said about Islam. But if it was outside of the parameters of the law that you live in, then it's not allowed. You can only talk back.
How about the aura of the fighter?
The aura of the fighter, that is haram to show the thighs. Like that. Yeah. Haram to show your thighs. We have to cover up to the knee.
But are we blameworthy for watching?
I mean, there's always a desire.
I mean, it's you cannot look directly at someone's aura, but you can look at someone who's revealing his thigh as long as you're not looking at his thigh. Yeah. So you see that? So if Golding has insulted the Prophet or insulted Islam, then that is a fight that he can do. But I don't think they're going to do it because they won't sanction it. Can there be multiple universes?
Why not?
Of course there can be. Rationally, it's possible, right? Rationally speaking, and Shadee speaking, Allah can create whatever He wishes. But do we believe in it? No, we don't believe in it. We don't believe in something unless it has come to us from transmission, from Allah that He created it, or that we've seen it with our eyes demonstrably, or seen evidence of it. And the multiverse, I don't think has any of that. Multiverse is just a way to explain the randomness. Because remember, the God of the gaps of the atheists is randomness. Anything that they can't explain how it happened, they say, oh, it's random. Contemplate the Criterion says, where can I find info regarding fiqh-related issues in riding and training horses? I work race horses and need to know what to avoid. Good question. Good question. I've never even looked into it except the general rules that animals must be taken. Here's a general understanding of animals. They exist for our benefit, but not for our abuse. Our benefit and not abuse. So if the benefit is looking at them, no problem. You can have peacocks and whatever animal you want just to look at it. Okay? Enjoy it. You have to, and we're not allowed to trap animals. We're not allowed to injure them. We're not allowed to starve them. And there are, you can put them on diets, no problem, but we can't trap them. We can't overwork them. We're not allowed to overwork them. All right. People want me to do a reaction video on Sam Shamoun. Yeah, inshallah, I'll look at it, I guess. Abdul Quddus says, what if the ma'moom, it's ma'moom, the one who is following, is called a muqtadi or a ma'moom, expects the imam to do sujood al-tilawa. Okay. And he didn't. Is it wrong for the Maliki imam to do it? Oh, I see what you're talking about. No, his salah would not be invalid because of the khilaf on the issue, because it's mas'ala ijtihadiyya and there's khilaf on it. But within the constraints of following Maliki fiqh, we shouldn't do it, and you would at that point. It's abrogated. So for you, if you did it for no other reason, even that, I mean, it's because it's a khilafi issue, and we don't invalidate a prayer that would be valid in another madhhab. We wouldn't invalidate it. A lot of da'wah bros and fundamentalists use these verses as evidence by saying women should only stay at home, but hadith and seerah portray Muslim women as active in societies within Islamic limits. Only, I would say, maybe possibly inexperienced people who don't actually live with a family try to figure out how to live just by the text. That's not the right way to do it. Why don't we look at what the other shuyukh who have lived with the Quran and the Hadith and Sharia and knowledge, and they've lived in the West. Why don't we look at how they live? Isn't that the best tafsir? And not one sheikh, not two sheikhs, but 5, 10 shuyukh. So let's say you're 35 years old and you just got married, or you're 30 years old, you got married, you want to do things right. I'm going to look at the Quran and look at the Sunnah, look at Sharia and see how we're going to live. Why would you even do that? It's right there. The other shuyukh are alive, living, walking the streets today. Don't they all contemplate these things? So that's how I would look at these urfi. These are urfi things that change with time and place. They change with time and place. Ubaid is saying, what type of nafil salah is prayed on Jummah? Did not we answer this 3 streams in a row? Brother, I'm worried now. I told you, when you go to Jummah, you pray as many nafil as you want until the khatib says assalamu alaikum. Then you sit and listen to the khutbah, and any nafil that you want to do after that, you do it at home. Can a Muslim be a judge and magistrate in a non-Muslim country? Only if he's not going to contradict the Sharia in his judgments. Because if he does, it's on him. You are judged. You don't. The law and the truth and the Sharia doesn't get suspended when you get a job. Any tips on staying focused? I think the best tip on staying focused is to remove distractions. Like, I don't know how anyone studies with a phone. I don't know how any kids study at all. When they have a laptop and so many different distractions, how do they study? I mean, they do, but yeah, you will get some certification and ijaza if you complete an exam in ArcView Advanced. Yes.
Sorry, the Kevin used to say when he went to study in the desert, the Mauritanians, they would say their break was to take one science after the other. Like if you get to
Oh yeah, that's true.
to the next one. Like that's all that there is to do.
In
That's your break.
Mauritania, they had literally no distractions. So their game at the end of the day was to light a fire and make tea, make green tea. And it takes a long time. They keep smoking it, pouring it from one container to the next. And then they had 2 kinds of games there. The one game was someone recites and see how long he can recite before making a mistake. Then another one competes against him. The other one was that shuyukh would ask the kids, the youth, fiqhi riddles. Like, what happens if this happens? What's the ruling? Right? And go to the little fine points of fiqh and riddles and see. Like, here's a simple riddle, right? This is a simple one. You could probably all guess this one. Which salah could be prayed, or when would you ever pray a salah and have 3 tashahhud in a row and not require sujood as-sahw? Not eclipse, no.
That you join in the second rak'ah of the tashahhud of Imam when you're joining him in for the group prayer. So that's the first tashahhud. Then he gets up and you get up with him and you do the second tashahhud with him.
Correct.
It's Imam's last tashahhud, but then you have to make up a rak'ah and you have to do the tashahhud.
Correct. So joining Maghrib in the Imam's third rak'ah is your first rak'ah. You will pray Maghrib with 3 tashahhud in a row, not requiring sujood sahw. That's like an example of a fiqhi riddle. Yeah. And just another human got it. Zillion Jester got it. All right. When fishing is haram to allow the fish to suffocate from the air. When fishing, is it haram to... No, that's not haram. If it's a faster way to kill it, then you should do that. But to allow it to suffocate from the air is not haram. Because you have to consider fishermen, they have to mass fish. So they allow it to suffocate from there. The fresh policy. Video is below this super chat. I'm not allowed to put it on super chat. Really appreciate if you react to it now. It's worth your time, but very relevant. Fine. Video is below this super chat. What does that mean? Where's the link? What does he mean video is below this super chat?
We can't see your recommended, bro.
Huh?
We can't see that.
Yeah, we can't see it. Can you just put it in the chat? By the way, we get flagged every time we watch a YouTube video. Unless I guess we have to make commentary on it. Juan Carlos says, if I'm making wudu in a public restroom and I'm unable to wash my feet, can I complete my wudu when I go into another area a few minutes later? The answer is yes, as long as you're still wet. Okay? So what you could do is do all your wudu and take a bottle of water with you and do the rest of your feet in the stall. And it's makruh, but at that point for you, it's no longer makruh because there's nothing else to do. Or you can go outside and just do your feet. But you don't want to be... I'm not up for looking odd, to be honest with you. I'm not in for, this is Islam, we're just going to do our Islam. I'm not into looking odd, personally speaking. I'll do my arms, my face, my hair in the public bathroom. I'm not about to put my feet in the public bathroom, right? We shouldn't look odd. I'm going to take a water bottle and do my feet either in the stall or around the back of the building, okay, where no one's going to see me. Then I'll pray there. I'm not into this idea of looking of making everyone gawk at you. No, if there's a legitimate thing like Jummah in the park, that's like the whole group is there, whole community is there. But malls were not made for this. They didn't make malls or workplace bathrooms for that. I'm not into that. Okay.
I would just wear your khufs before going, right?
Or wear a khuf. I'd wipe on the khuf. I'm due to get myself, there's a specific khuf that I get every year. By the end of the year, it's ripped. Could you learn 2 schools at one time but only practice one? I mean, in terms of it's Sharia, of course you can. But in terms of application, you have to see if you get confused. And many shuyukh, they don't like it because it causes confusion. But if it doesn't confuse you, then you may do it. No problem. Okay, where is the video that the brother said he wants the reaction for? The fresh policy. Give me the title of the video. I'll look it up myself. What is your view on Said Nursi and his teachings? I love them. From what I've seen nothing but amazing reaction to secularism and answers to those questions. Can a Mus'haf be lined up among other books on a desk across like that? Yes, they can, as long as it's respectfully done. If we shouldn't go by our desires and we should go by a madhab, isn't picking a madhab going by your desires? No, because you pick through your aql. Okay. And if someone says, well, also I'm going to pick the different madhabs, the different opinions by my aql, we said, no, you have no aql then. I'll tell you why. Because if you did have aql, you choose the methodology, not the ruling. How can you be comparing apples and oranges? Right? How could you end up picking a ruling because of its evidences, right, against another madhab, against its evidence, when they have different methodologies? If you have aql, you pick the methodology, and then you take whatever it gives you. That's if you have aql. But no, people pick a different ruling because how it suits their life. It's better for me. It's easier for me. Some of it is logical. Like if something is impossible to practice, no problem. But if it's just because it suits my life easier, I really want to eat this, I really want to do that, then it's whims. Oh, we'll give it a new ruling. Valid but whimsical, right? You know, valid but sinful, valid but discouraged, valid but whimsical. Dar Taqwa bookstore, the oldest Islamic books. I've been there. It's about to shut down, unfortunately, due to the rising costs of living, and maybe people don't read as much anymore. They just get the PDF, or
It's gotta be the main reason.
that's got to be the main reason. I mean, even huge bookstores like Barnes and Noble used to be open here on Route 1, shut down. Barnes and Noble used to be where, I think it was where the Trader Joe's, and now there's a winery next to each other on Route 1. That used to be a huge Barnes and Noble. Sheikh, what do you think of reverts like Sneako? Honestly, I don't follow them, but I pray for them. And I hope that they do well. And that's it. That's all I can say. I don't follow them, not out of principle like I'm better than them and they're stupid. I don't follow them. No, I think a lot of that stuff is stupid, but that's not why I'm saying that. I'm saying that because I just happen not to follow them. It's a different age group than me. I don't even know how to follow. What do they do? They're streaming all the time on these weird sites, which I'm not familiar with, right? So now it's an age thing. Okay, but I root for them. May Allah bless them, increase them in Islam, and you know, that's all I can say. Now, I thought Andrew Tate was a legit convert, but I don't know about him anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know what he's up to. But again, I pray for him. May Allah make it easy. It's not easy to be a guy who just lives a certain way of living and you made yourself famous on that. Then to join a whole new religion where you have to submit to these rules. That doesn't excuse people doing stuff. But
problem with Tate is that he keeps on, like when he went first into Islam, he started advocating for submission to God.
yeah.
And he would even advocate himself as a God's soldier, which is the problem now that you're just sitting like they're shirtless and just
That what?
like he's just sitting there shirtless with like women now, and you know,
Yeah. I mean,
the opposite to what he was first. Like,
I would say you go from kafir to fasiq. You went up, meaning open public sinner, but Muslim. That's my expectation. My expectation is not kafir to salih, right? My expectation of a guy like him, who's living up any desire he wants, is kafir who follows his desires to Muslim who follows his desires. The only thing is, don't say stuff that's contrary to Islam. That's it. And don't advocate that stuff. I'm not even saying don't do it. I know you're going to do it. Born Muslims do it. It's hard to change. It takes decades to change. We have to appreciate this. But don't say something directly contrary to Islam or directly pulling down the Muslim ummah. If you want to say something, criticize them, be constructive in it, because these are your brothers and this is the ummah of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Is it sinful to say there are too many people named Muhammad in the UK? well, it's not even a fact. There's not enough, right? Because that's the greatest name in the world. So he's wrong on the facts there. And is he unhappy that they're named Muhammad? So when religion and politics cross, that's where they have to make sure they don't say something that puts them out of Islam. They want to say something sinful. I expect that, actually, from certain people. So you enter Islam does not mean you entered righteousness. You just submitted the belief in Allah and His Messenger and His law. So the fresh policy, give me the title or the link and I'll just click on it and watch it. He found it? It's 18 minutes though. No, I can't do 18 minutes. Not now, at least. I'll do a review. Inshallah, I'll look at it, send it to me, and then I can do part of it later on. We got to wrap up. If I follow the Hanafi opinion that Asr begins at the double length shadow length, is it still valid to pray Dhuhr after the shadow has reached one length? Okay. If, I don't know, you should follow the Hanafi madhab unless there's a reason. And then I think within your madhab you have both opinions, right?
Yeah.
So it would be valid if you did, though. YT Knight says, so-and-so, I don't know who he's talking about, one of these influencers doesn't like the haram police, apparently. Well, one of these guys got into it with certain people, which I knew would make him go crazy in the first place because they're extra, as you guys would say. But, I mean, I would talk to any of these guys. We're going to open up the stream to talk to people that even we don't really fully agree with. So keep in mind that in the future, not every stream guest is going to be someone that we're advocating as a Sunni teacher. It can be non-Muslim in the first place. You have to talk to people. That's one thing I want to do more of, including people we may just have big disagreements with. But you got to talk. If you want to get somewhere, you eventually have to come by. It happens by talking. Is it fine to follow the local mosque timing? Yes, it is. As long as it's a general Sunni mosque, yes. How to make a big life-changing decision? Istikhara, istishara, what else? Those two things. And listen to the advice of your trusted people that love you. Is it true that in Hanafi Madhab there's no Jummah without the ruler? They talk about that it's the ruler who has to establish Jummah, but ultimately at the end of the day, the answer is no. It is still a valid Jummah, even if there's no ruler. I studied in a madrasa for 1 year, but due to problems in our family, I had to come back home and want to continue my studies to become an alim. What's your advice? To start online and make a relationship with the teacher. That's why we literally have arcview.org for cases like this. If you did 1 year, then go straight to the advanced Hanafi course then. Do you have retreats, says Zillion? We have pretty busy Fridays and busy Sundays, and Saturdays go visit New York City, right? And come back. So we want to visit a visit to New Jersey would look like this. You fly in on Thursday. You attend the small Thursday night gathering we have. You come in for Jummah. But it has to be on the first or third Friday of the month, because sometimes I travel on the second and fourth. You attend Jummah with us. We all the guys go out for a big lunch every Jummah, after Jummah. You take a rest. You roll back into the masjid for Aisha, and we have a dhikr night. We at NBIC uphold the position of the permissibility. By the way, so the Hanabila too, and Ibn Taymiyyah too, okay, that the recitation of the Quran in one voice is permitted. And that's what we do. And by analogy of that, what is the Quran? The king of all dhikr, right? So therefore, if that's permitted for the Quran, it's permitted for everything else. Okay, so we follow that. And we do dhikr for an hour, and we give talks, and then we have some sweets and tea and all that. So Friday night, you have that. Saturday, usually we don't do anything because it's a family and social day. And usually there's a wedding at the masjid. So if Saturday morning, you're going to wake up, go get yourself a nice cup of coffee or chai, because now we have all these cool stores now in the area. And then go to New York City. Check out New York. Come back Sunday, roll into the masjid around 2 o'clock. Or no, 1 o'clock now. Well, if you want to watch us play soccer, you come at 10. Okay. Futsal. But 1 o'clock we start our class. 3 o'clock we have lunch. By 4:15ish we're done. And then you go to the airport and be home by 9 p.m. Right? Take your flight back. So that's how you would spend a weekend at NBIC.
We do also have those Darafat intensives. Like Sheikh the Brace, for example.
Yeah.
We'll be coming, like, we have those as well, right? But not as often.
By the way, if you're a Hanafi, we have Sheikh Tabrez's Hanafi intensive soon. What date?
That is December.
December what?
4th, right?
4th to 7th.
December 4th. How far is New York City from you guys? 45-minute drive. Could be less. What's the aqli proof that Allah always lives? Okay. Al-Baqi. That he never dies. Something dies when it loses what it's dependent upon. That's literally the definition of death. When you no longer have what keeps you alive, correct? Well, Allah doesn't have anything that keeps him alive. He's self-sufficient. Okay. A God, by definition, has no needs. And death is the need of life. So he has no needs. That's the aqli proof.
It's like, if he wasn't Baqi, he wouldn't be Qadim.
Yeah, if he's not baqi, if he has an end, he must have had a beginning. Nothing can be pre-eternal, infinite. Can you say that something has an arrow this way is infinite, but has an end? No. Al-Qidam and Baqa are one and the same. Infinity has arrows both ways. No beginning, no end. You can have a beginning and no end. That's us. Our soul never dies. It goes away. There will be no world at some point, but your soul still exists. Okay. In the barzakh. And then you'll exist in paradise. Okay. You'll exist in paradise forever. But you're not infinite because you had a beginning. All right? You're living eternally. You're adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. The infinite, you don't add anything or subtract to it by definition. Does Islam say anything about there being other earths? No, it says that there are other abodes, which are the heavens. The 7 heavens and earths. Because every abode has an earth, in other words, a ground that the angels walk on and things, then a space in between, and then a sky. Just like us. We walk on the earth, there's a space in between, and then there's a sky. So the 7 heavens are talking about the 7 skies, and other verses in Juz 28 say about the 7 earths. Okay, 7 earths, each sky has its own earth. Earth here not meaning like planet Earth, meaning something to walk on. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do a final check on our Syrian orphans, and we have to wrap up because Elif got to go to class. Okay. He's gonna be late to class, Elif. Why didn't you get up and go to class? Oh, come on, bro. Sorry for asking again. What's the name of the Nafil Salah prayed on Jummah? Nothing. Just Nafil. Is it Tahiyyatul Masjid only? No, it's just Nafil. That's it. It's called Nafil. It has no name to it. Oh, we need 40 pounds. Click refresh. We need 40 pounds to reach Fazl's desired goal of 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. We're going to have to check by the evening what happens, inshallah. Ladies and gentlemen, Elif's got to go to class. I got class too. SubhanAllah, I got fiqh class. I got fiqh class. Ladies and gentlemen, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa subhanaka inni. What do I say? I lost track because I texted. نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.